Morning, guys. I'm going to do this gunner talk today with a sore head, a sore throat, and a heavy heart. Just where do we even start? I mean, first thing, my video yesterday of waking up in the Europa League music is night and day to this morning. I opened my eyes and all I could hear was sort of Moby. Why does my heart do feel so bad? Why does my soul? That honestly, that's just I just felt like the life had been sucked out of me when I opened my eyes this morning. Just like back to reality. Back, we allowed ourselves, didn't we? And this is where as fans, we can't do anymore. The noise in the stadium last night from that small group of fat was great. That whatever people like me who have a lot of issues with the team, we all tried to get behind them yesterday, and this is how our faith is repaid once again. Like I say, for me, I could hear Moby this morning. Now, all I want to do is sort of climb in a cupboard and listen to Johnny Cash. I just don't know. I don't know where we go from here, guys. I really don't. It's a tough one, isn't it? Let's get cracking. First things first, to start off, I got sent a nice little present last night. A bit of official merchandise for Arsenal from Adidas. It's a sort of hat / balaclava. Don't know what you guys think, but what do you reckon? Looks pretty decent to me. Fairly impressed. And I can see these selling pretty well for next season. I think they're about £8. Well, that's what my guy might be knocking them out for. So hit me up in the comments if you want one. I'll sort it out for you. Right, let's just get into it. Welcome to Gunner Talk. First and foremost, you guys know I have some issues with Stan, and I've said so many times, the club isn't being run horrifically, but there's so much more this guy could do. And I've said so many times, he just doesn't have any real care or feelings towards Arsenal. It is just purely a business for him. And look at that last night. It's a European final. It's our first one in 13 years. Was he there? No. Was he fuck? And he should be. He should be. If you cared, you'd be there. For a billionaire, it's not hard to get to Baku. It is for working class fans. It's not hard for a super billionaire American, you know what I mean? He should have been there for me. Beyond pissed off he wasn't, and it just sums him up as an owner for me. That was a damning statement for him last night to not be there for me, and the reason that I just can't fucking stomach the bloke anymore. I really can't. Next you get on to Unai. I saw people calling him out last night. I can understand if you're unsure about whether he's the guy to take us forward or not, but I couldn't criticise him based on last night. He put our strongest 11 out. They were pretty average first half. We were in the game, without really creating any killer chances. We were in the game. Once we were then out of the game in the second half, he made some subs who got us back in the game, and we still didn't perform. A little wonder goal from Iwobi was pretty much all we had to hope, give us any sort of hope last night, and everything else was pretty depressing, to be honest. So I can't really blame Unai. He had a tough job on his hands this year, taking over from Arsene. The shadow he casts, the squad that he's left. Unai's done bits. People saying about this identity and his style of play and all the rest of it. I don't think we're going to see his style of play or how he wants to play or a fixed formation he wants to play until he's got players that can actually fucking play it. That's my problem, guys, but rather than give him shit. He's got, I've said it for years now, it's square pegs in round holes, and he's another manager who's having to use square pegs in round fucking holes. It doesn't work. So I'm going to give him a ride, until we've got players that are capable of doing more than one fucking thing. I don't expect Unai to do more than one thing, and that's just to keep us fucking, not bombing out into the bottom half of the table. That's all I can expect from him going into next year. And I think a lot of us now are really going to have to readjust our thoughts and ideas on where we think this team's going next year. Because for me now, next season is a bit of a write-off. You know, some will say that's dramatic, but for me it's not. I just don't think now, with no Champions League, you can really expect us to bring in some really brilliant players that are going to change things, because for a lot of players Champions League is the be all and end all. So any of the big targets we were looking at, I don't think we're going to be able to talk into coming to the club. So now we're going to look at these younger players, you know, Saliba, Palacios, you know, Claude Maurice, Martinelli. I think that's where we're going to have to shop, guys, because as far as senior pros go, I don't think you'd want what Will would be able to get. So I think we've got to look at these younger players now, younger players at the club already, and you know, have a season next year where it's literally just transitioning the squad again, rather than, well, we've got to get back in Champions League. Fuck Champions League for next year. In my opinion, we've got to just sort this team out. We've got to. I'd rather take 4 steps back next year and finish 9th with a team the average age of 21, that the season after will do a bit once they've gelled together. It's just tough, guys, isn't it? It's really fucking hard to stomach this morning. It's just, you know, and if you want to look at sort of, you know, the Umtitis, the Ziyechs, the Rabios, players like that, you know, if they would come to us without Champions League, the only way I see us getting players like that now is if senior pros leave. That's the only way we're going to raise the money, in my opinion, is that the not good enough senior pros we have now have to fucking go. They have to go. And that's the big thing for me now, is I want to see the axe swung big time, because there's so many in this squad that, again, you know, this is why it fucking stings so much with the game last night, because I let myself try and get positive, and once again, how was it repaid to me? You know, it was shoved up my fucking arse, you know, double fisted straight back up my arse, as far as I'm concerned, and that's what kills me. You know, I can't do any more than I did yesterday. You know, whether I believed it or not is another thing. I tried, and you know, some of this team, they're just shite, guys. They're not good enough. So let's get into them. You know, a big debate before the game. You know, there was lots going on. You know, I saw it last night. Let's do it for Mickey. Let's do it for Czech. Let's do it for Koz. You know, let's do it for Rambo. Let's do it for Wells. Let's do it for all these players leaving. And they're still not motivated, guys. You know, the troubles the fans have got getting over there. How big it is, you know, not just winning a European trophy for the first time in 25 years, but getting back in the Champions League for the first time in 3 years. And these guys don't have it in them. They're fucking spineless. We've got a squad of jellyfish. You know, it's just not good enough, guys. It really isn't. Like I say, that a lot of the debate was on Czech, whether he was the right man or not, and I said to you guys, you know, for me, it's not sentiment FC. I don't give a shit if it's his last game or not. It's all about Arsenal, and last night was about Arsenal Football Club getting back in the Champions League. So for me, you've got to play your best players. And for me, Leno was a miles better goalkeeper and should have started. He didn't. You've got to take that on the chin. And I thought Czech was decent. I didn't think he was great on a couple of occasions, but he made some good saves, and that could have got embarrassing for me. Without him last night, it could have got really embarrassing. So I'm not going to really look to place any blame on him. And it's going to sound horrible, guys, but I'm glad he's gone now. I'm glad that's his last time in between the posts. Great player for Chelsea, a Premier League legend, definitely one of the best goalies he's ever been, but not an Arsenal legend, not been particularly brilliant for us, and a player I'm glad that's gone. Ospina's another one that I can't wait to see the back of, just never really been up to it, and I'm glad he'll be going as well. Right back, Litchi, Jenko, Tatar boys, fucking, you know, to see you later. I can't even do this I'm going to struggle to do this in a really sort of polite, kind, caring way, and I don't feel like they deserve it, so I'm just not going to. Ainsley, guys, I keep saying he's not a right back, he's a centre mid. You know, people giving him shit last night. He was our best player in the first half with Socrates. He was our best player. You know, he's young and experienced, and he's asked to do the biggest role in the team, which was Mark Eden Hazard. You know, and then you're shocked that, you know, he can't quite fucking manage it. It just blows my mind. You know, and he's someone that we need to help, you know, be part of building a team around for me next season. I'd much rather see him play in the middle of the park than some of our senior pros, I'll put it that way. So, you know, he's someone who's going to be a big part of our team next year, in my opinion. Centre-back, Mustafi, you know, that's what makes it more banter last night, is we can't even blame Mustafi, can we? The guy, I'd have played him over Monreal, because I think Monreal's a useless fucking sack of skin. I'd have played Mustafi over him, as much as I don't trust the fucker. I'd have played him over Nacho. Although, you know, I don't expect a great deal out of either. But for me, both of them two have got to go. You know, it's time to stop this. Oh, well, he's been a good servant. Oh, he's been this, he's been... Fuck off. It's time for these guys to leave. No more of this. Well, he's done this, he's done that. You know, these other more pressing positions, blah, blah, blah. Some of these guys have just got to fucking go. You've got to stop this sentiment shit. It's time to start thinking about the club at number one and get over some of these players, because they're not repaying your faith, and they haven't been. It's just that tomorrow have been shitter that clouds your judgment. Cos for me last night was a fucking non-entity. You know, he really didn't turn up for me last night. I thought he was really disappointing, and he's another one if he goes. He's been a brilliant player for us, and I'd be happy if he gets a 1-year extension. But I think it's time we move on. Really, at centre back, you sort of Holding and Socrates, and we go from there. That's where I see it now. I think everyone else has got to fucking go. You know, you can include Mavro in there, but whether he's up to it yet or not, we don't know, do we, guys? But he's not someone we're going to be able to lean on week in, week out next year. So we're going to need 2 centre-backs at least. And for me, maybe now Mustafi and Cos go, and we bring in a sort of senior pro and a younger one. Left-back, like I say, Nacho for me, he's got to go. Kolasinac, you know, he was just what he is last night. Like I say, we need to start a left-back. This is what I mean. We're only in the defence, and you know, we're already a shit show, aren't we? We're already, you know. Oh, guys, let me take this off. I'll put my merchandise down for a bit, but this is where we are. You know what I mean? There's so much work to be done. There's so much that needs to get done. You know, in an ideal world, you'd probably replace both, but I don't think that's going to happen straight away and quick enough. So for me, it's just Nacho's got to go, and we use Said as a backup. Centre of the park, Torreira, I thought he tried hard last night. It's like I say, guys, you know, when it's a midfield three of him, Xhaka and Ozil, he's the only one for me, and I've been saying it all season, he's the only one that's bringing something to the fucking table. And that's why, you know, he's going nowhere next year. So we've got to put 2 more players in the middle of the park, workhorses that can graft, that can do more than one fucking thing. Xhaka, guys, you know my thoughts on this guy. He's just not good enough. I was impressed with him in the first half last night, and I still thought he wasn't particularly good, and that frightens me. I thought the one thing he does do well, spraying it about, he did well last night. But as soon as we're getting counter-attacked, he's a fucking non-entity. He honestly, you're more likely to see him on a milk carton than you are on the fucking pitch, because he turns into a missing person. And he is one for me. He has to go. He has to go. If we're building a squad round a player like him next year, honestly, top fourth to 8th is as good as we can fucking hope for. You know, look at since he's come here, we've not managed top 4. It's no coincidence for me, guys. He's not. Like I keep saying, that his position for me next to Torreira, he's one of our most influential, where we need a real leader, a box-to-box player that can be part of everything, and he isn't that guy. Whether you love him, you hate him, whatever, it's time to get real. He's not fucking good enough, and he's another one for me. Him and Mustafi are the 2 players that'll bring some dough in, that have got to go for me if we're to transform ourselves and get back fucking looking like a side that give a shit. You know, he's just weak will. People going, oh, he's a leader, he's a future my captain. Oh, fuck off. Honestly, get to fuck. This guy, like I keep saying, I'd rather have Pugwash, Kanish or fucking Birdseye than this guy as a captain. And, you know, it's a big part, again, of... So my mate said it to me last night. I was watching the game with... You know, you look now at players that are going, big characters, Cech, Welbs, you know, in the dressing room, Rambo, Koscielny possibly. Who then is our leaders? This is the frightening thing. Then you are looking at your Xhakas, you know, fuck me, you know, fuck me. The idea of him leading, being our big man, it just makes me feel sick to the bottom of my stomach. Awful, fucking, honestly, really awful. You know, and I look at other teams in the Premier, and I think, whose team does he get in? You know, somebody said it about Bielik the other night. You know, oh well, he's man of the match in a League One game, whatever. Would you see Xhaka being you know, player of the season, man of the match week in, week out for these teams? Because I don't, and not even in League One. I've just got no time for him anymore, like so many of them now. I can't even pretend to back him anymore. I fucking can't. I don't have it in me, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't. I don't want to hear any more of this. Well, we've just got to back him because they play for Arsenal. Fuck, bollocks to it, guys. Bollocks to it. We're not getting our faith repaid, so I'm stopping putting faith in. That's just it for me. Ozil last night. That's it for me with him. You know, I've loved him, and I think he's, you know, he was world class when we got him. He's a long way off fucking world class now. You know, week in, week out, he can do world class things still. You know, class is permanent, form's temporary, and all that shit. You know, you know, his little bounce shot and his bounce pass and all that. He's still got class things to his game, but he's not a world class player guy. You know, he's just. That was a game for him last night, I think, to silence everyone and really step up and go, I'm your boy, MO10, I'm the fucking man, pipe down, watch this. And he just, like I say, I saw that this morning, Paddy Power replacing, you know, refunding bets on him, if anybody backed him to be a anytime goal scorer, because he just didn't turn up. I mean, how embarrassing is this, guys? We are Banter FC still. I thought we'd got away from it, but we're not. You know, the amount of fucking fellow fans that were laughing at me last night really stunk. You know, I try and take myself seriously with a bit of you know, a cheeky look at it, but you know, we've got to get real, guys. We're an embarrassment. We really are. You know, no, we're not. We've got to look at it in all seriousness. We're not a relevant big side anymore. We're still a big club, but we're not a big side. You know, there's nobody looking at us anymore. You know, like, you know, you see the memes and things. You know, when Thierry Henry had a long sleeve shirt on and gloves, you knew it was fucking go time. Who could you say that about in this side? There's no one, is there? You know, it just, we've fallen a long way from, you know, the Invincibles in 2004. Yeah, it's 15 years ago, but over those 15 years, we've just kept going like that, guys. You know, and it was happening before Gronka got here, but it's got worse under him. You know, then you look at the two lads up top last night. I thought they tried, I thought they started lively, but they just, I think the frustration got to them as well. It just, you know, just fuck all happening. They're getting nothing created for them. Plenty of chances in the first half last night where Kolasinac could have whipped the ball in, and he just didn't, or it was a poor cross. You know, giving these lads scraps to feed on it. And they weren't great. I'm not going to defend them massively, but I'm not going to turn on the two guys that are probably the reason that we've, you know, the only reason really why we've been sort of competitive this year, the only reason why we've had a sniff of top four, the only reason why we've got to Europa League final is these two guys. So they're certainly, I'm certainly not for turning on them. I just think they were as poor as everyone else last night. You know, and I felt embarrassed that Iwobi came on and scored, and he's the one that's giving me some sort of hope. You know, all my hope was pinned on fucking Alex Iwobi. That's how bad we are, guys. You know, Willock in 5 minutes did more than Mesut did in 65. It's time, guys. It's time to really, like I say, take a few steps back for a year. Just cancel a season and just go, right, all that matters is, like I said the other week, is we get these players out and we get some new ones in and we start building a side. Forget results, forget where we end up, forget European football, forget all that shit. Just concentrate on internal affairs at the moment and sorting this fucking club out. You know, and goalposts are going to get moved now, like I say, with transfer-wise. I just feel sorry for Unai now, because whatever limited firepower they were going to give him, you know, it's gone from a revolver with one bullet to a pea shooter with one pea now, as far as I'm concerned. I think we're going to have to work miracles in the window again, and like I just said at the start, you know, I would rather look at sort of, you know, we've got Cech going, Ospina going, Jenko going, Litchi going, you know, possibly then for me, Mustafi, Koz, Nacho, El Nene, Xhaka, I would love to see the back of, Rambo going, Welbs going, you know, and then you've got sort of Mickey, Ozil, all players that really should be gone. You know, and it's time to start filling those. People have laughed at me when I've said it about, you know, so in goal, Martinez replaces Cech and Ospina, bang, done, save a fortune. Right back, you know, Ossie Tutu, give him a go. It can't be worse than fucking Lichtsteiner and Jenko, guys. It's time to start looking at it like this. At least we could build something with him, rather than with these guys, we're just staying stagnant. So it's either get another right back, because Ainsley ain't one and he needs to play in the middle of the park, or give Ossie Tutu a go. But we've got Jenko and Litchi got to go. Centre back, like I say, Socrates, Holding, Mavro, we need two more. You know, I would have loved to have seen sort of Umtiti come in and Saliba, you know, a sort of older, younger compromise, one to replace the other. You know, we need an old head. When we've got one in Socrates, we need another one, really. But I don't want to see it being someone who's sort of 29, 30. I want it to be someone that 26, 27, you know, that we could build a team around at least for... We've got to be looking at a 5-year project for me now, definitely. So there's two more, you know, that have free up some money and gone. Left back, like I say, I don't see us getting rid of both. But But for me, we've got to stop fucking relying on a guy like this, because he's not reliable anymore. And I don't ever feel like he has been particularly reliable. I think his few things that he does well masks all of his bad sides. Very much similar to Xhaka. A couple of balls last night and everyone goes, oh, he's a fucking worlder. But you're not watching that every time they counter-attack, he gets trapped in that no man's land between the back line and the attack. He's fucking clueless. Tactically, guys, and positional-wise, he's clueless. Like I say, the only one in there is Torreira, and I feel sorry for him. He must be looking going, I was expecting to play with two Dons in the middle of the park in Xhaka and Ozil, and it's fucking embarrassing, guys. It really is. And so defence there's got to be 3 or 4 signings coming. There's just got to. And like I said with Bielik, I think he's on Mavro's level as a centre back. I think he's got to come in as a backup centre back. I don't want to see him in the middle of the park, because I think he'd be another Xhaka. He's not. He's a bit more mobile, but he's not mobile enough to pull that role off. So for me, it makes sense to have him as a centre back and utilise what he does have. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's good with his feet. He's a solid defender. He's good positionally, so it makes sense. Let's say centre mid, El Neni, Xhaka, Ozil for me have got to go. Then you look at, we've got sort of Torreira, Willock, Guendouzi, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We need another body in there, possibly 2. It's got to be a box-to-box, guys. I'm not too arsed about replacing Ozil, because I think that's a dead role now. I don't think there is a number 10 role anymore. I think you need fluent midfield 3 that can all interchange and all attack and defend together, and we don't have that. We've just got 3 fucking maniacs like that all the time, just all over the place. We're a shit show. That's one thing that I've noticed hasn't changed this season again, that when we're great, we look tidy going forward, but as soon as it breaks down, we're just all over the fucking place. It's just we can't hold any shape when it's ad hoc stuff. It's just in the minute. We don't hold any shape. It's like watching under-8s football, where all the kids just like a swarm of bees just following the ball. That's exactly what we're like. It's really unprofessional, and it's just embarrassing. So like I say, for me, Xhaka and El Neni have got to go. Bring Chambers back. He'd be a great foil for Torreira when he can't play or he needs a rest. And like I say, he's more of a utility man. I think these are the sort of players that Unai wants to work with. So with Callum, he's just been Fulham's player of the season there. He can play central defensive midfielder, he can play centre back, he can play right back. He's so much more use than these 2 fucking spanners, that can just do one thing and do not do that one thing particularly well. We need some wingers. I really want to see Amici, Saka, Nelson get in games. I don't give a shit if they're terrible, and it takes them a long time to get going. I'll give them 2 seasons, because it's better than watching this stagnant shit that we have been again this year. We're not going forward. It's been a transition year, and really we've not given Unai enough ammunition to really transform the side. It's been sort of half-arsed done. And it's where we're going to need some backing. You can say fair play, FIFA, financial fair play stuff. Well, we can only do so much wages-wise. That's true, but Stan can put some money in. Don't tell me any different than he can put some money in. He can pump some of his own dough in, guys. Let's get away from this protecting this guy and giving him excuses. These ways and means for him to put some money into the fucking club, and that's it for me. He won't be. He's not a starter, but I think he's a useful squad player, so I wouldn't get rid of him. Mickey, I think's got to go. He's not done enough for me this year to convince me that we should keep paying him 200 grand a week. He hasn't. And I don't think he'd have made any real difference last night. I think he'd have just been another one like an headless chicken running about. Like I say, Mesut's got to go, and I don't think we really need to replace him. We just play with we go 4-4-2 with 2 wingers and 2 mids, so, a box-to-box next to Torreira, or we go 4-3-3, and I don't see a spot for him in that either. So he's got to be a make weight for me. He's got to go. Boys up front, that you're just not going to change that, are you? And we probably need, if Martinelli comes in, him and Eddie as backup to these boys. Like I say, it's going to be tough next year, guys. And like I say, I think a lot of you are going to have to really start looking at it realistically and saying, we're not a top four side, and I don't think we're close to it. And like I say, I'd rather turn into a top 8 side for a season and see a load of this shite go and have a real transition season than keep muddling 4th to 6th, knowing we're not really going to improve with half of these players. That's just how I feel, guys. Yeah, I'm just going to go and climb in a fucking cupboard for the rest of the day and get properly full-on depressed and probably eat a lot of chocolate and drink a lot of tango. I don't cherry tango. I just don't. I can't even bring myself to do any work today. I just want to sit in the dark. I'm sure plenty of you feel the same, and I think that's the big kick in the teeth last night. Is a lot of us allowed ourselves, you know. Like I say, I'm quite not hateful, but I'm very straight to the point. I don't mix my words. I say it how it is, and just you know, I've said all season a lot of this lot aren't fucking good enough, and they'll prove it to me, and they have done again last night. I allowed myself to give them a chance and go, it's a European final. It's a chance for Champions League. It's a chance for a European trophy. You know, it's a nice farewell for some of these guys. We've got all the fucking reasons to do it, and they just don't give a fuck, guys. They just don't give a fuck. You know, I've seen people getting butthurt over Giroud last night on the Chelsea coach lifting the trophy and saying, thanks, Arsenal. Can you blame him? You know, he's another... It feels just like Van Persie to me. You can't be mad at the guy. Well, it's a bit different to Van Persie. I was mad at him because I felt like he owed us another season after we'd looked after him for fucking 10 years. But you can't be mad at people who want to leave to win trophies and then they win trophies. You can't be mad about that. You know, and it's embarrassing. Let's not get it right. Let's not get it wrong about last night. That was an average Chelsea side. You know, on paper we were better. They just wanted it more, and they had 100 less reasons to want it more. There's just that pride. You know, it's like the Czech comments. You know, at Chelsea. At Arsenal, it's all nicely nice, and that was the Wenger culture. Is you never hound somebody out, you never blame somebody. It's all softly approach, and it's not fucking good enough. You know, there's got to be culpability, and when someone's in the wrong, you need to let them know that they've let you down, and that's how it's got to be from here on in. You know, Unai should have them boys this morning up early, watching a video and going, "Are you watching this? Yeah, you shit. Fuck off. Are you watching this? Yeah, you're shit. Fuck off. Find your own way home from here." Honestly, that's what scares me about next season is, and where I'm going to look at Unai is Unai the man to make some big decisions? Are the club going to allow him to make some big decisions? And like I say, I would rather watch all the youth players play next year and we finish 3 places lower, but we're building towards something, then keep watching these fucking overpaid fucking spineless bastards every week. I can't. It's honestly making me question whether I can, if not a lot changes in the summer, whether I can honestly bring myself to keep watching these guys week in or week out, or I sort of become one of these fans that just keeps my eye on the results. I just don't. It's left me feeling that emptiness, guy. I felt like I was getting some of it back this year, but I'm back here again, and I am sick of being back here. It's really hard to swallow. It really is, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same this morning, just like you've had the life sucked out of you. And you know, it might get worse this week. You know, it's not over yet. You know, I'm sure Spurs fans were absolutely pissing the sides at that last night, and rightly so. I'd have fucking laughed my cock off if that was anybody else getting walloped. Yeah, you know, and that could have got 6, 7, 8, 8-1 last night. You know, we were pretty lucky to get the one. It was just a great little strike from Iwobi. You know, it could have been really, really embarrassing. And like I say, you know, if they win Saturday night, I don't think they will, but if they do, oh fuck me, we really are a banter side then, and we're going to have to take it. We're going to have to, you know, act like adults and actually take it, because we'll deserve it, and that's just how it is, guys. I feel like I'm waffling now. I'm just depressed. I don't know what else to say. I'm just feeling some mega depression. Like I say, it's going to be interesting now to see what happens in the transfer window, but I think, like I say, a lot of you now need to seriously look at what your expectations are and maybe bring them down a couple of notches, because I think it's another year of no man's land next year and transition again. You know, Unai's got a year left on his contract now. What do they do? You know, this is a question that I hadn't really thought of until my mate said it last night. Now, what do they do with him? You know, this window, do you allow him to bring in the players he wants, or do you now look at somebody else? I just don't know, guys. So many unanswered questions going into next year now. I just think we've got to be realistic, and that's the one thing I think I am. And like I say, from what I'm said, I hope that shows it to you, that I think we've just got to go down the younger player route and really build from the ground up again. And like I say, we're going to find out a lot about Stan this window. You know, he's got 100% control now, first proper window where he has. It's time to put up or shut up. You know, like I say, to not be there last night, that was, as much as I think the guy's a whippy tash wanker, that was it for me last night. I thought, I cannot financial fair play, all of it. I cannot defend this guy anymore. The minimum he could have done is turned up to our first European final in 13 years last night, and it wouldn't have been hard for him to do it. You know, like I say, being a billionaire, it's much easier than the rest of us. So that's our leader, guys. You know, he's our leader. Oh, fuck, I'm going. I'm gonna go and cry into some cornflakes. Signing out, guys. Try and have a nice end to your week. Take care.